All right, let's talk about robotics. According to a brand new roadmap from some of America's top universities, the entire field is at this massive turning point. And look, this isn't just about cool gadgets anymore. We're talking about a technological shift that's about to completely reshape our industries, our jobs, and really our future. So what's the big deal? Let's get right into it.
But here's the thing that just kicks this whole story off, and honestly, it's a bit of a shocker. The United States, a pioneer in this field, has fallen to 10th place in the world for adopting robotics. Yeah, 10th. For the country that basically invented the industrial robot, that is a pretty wild statistic.
And hey, don't just take my word for it. The researchers behind this 2024 roadmap for U.S. robotics, they put it bluntly. They said it is no longer evident that robotics is a national priority in the USA. I mean, wow. That single sentence really sets up the whole story we're unpacking today, a race the U.S. used to be winning but now is seriously at risk of losing.
So that brings us right here. We are in the middle of a brand new global robot race. And this isn't about who has the flashiest prototype in a lab. No, it's about who can actually get this technology out there, at scale, to solve real-world problems. And right now, the field is wide open.
And if you want to understand the scale of this new race, just look at this. Last year, China alone bought 52% of all industrial robots sold on the entire planet. That is more than the rest of the world combined. Think about that. This isn't just a small lead, it's a massive strategic bet on the future of manufacturing and automation. So what's behind this global surge? Why is all this happening right now? Well, the report calls this moment an inflection point. It's that critical bend in the curve, that hockey stick moment, where all this exponential growth in the background technologies, things like materials, computing, and especially AI, it all comes together and just starts to create these revolutionary new abilities.
And the rocket fuel for this inflection point, the engine that's really driving this whole revolution, is artificial intelligence. The absolutely massive leaps we've seen in AI are what's turning robots from simple machines that just follow one program into dynamic tools that can actually learn, adapt, and operate in the messy real world.
Okay, this is where it gets really interesting, because it's not just one thing. First up, you've got analytical AI. That's what helps robots process tons of data from their sensors to get way more precise. Then there's physical AI, which is super cool. It's where robots train in these virtual worlds, basically learning from experience, not just from lines of code. And finally, the big one, generative AI. The goal here is to create a ChatGPT moment, but for physical stuff, where you can give a robot a simple command and it can figure out a bunch of complex physical tasks. But here's the real key. It's the combination of all three that's the absolute game changer. You get robots that don't just do a task, they learn from it and understand what you want them to do. That's the leap forward.
So this isn't just tech for tech's sake. The reason this race is so incredibly important is because these advanced robots are becoming absolutely essential for solving some of the biggest problems our society is facing right now.
Let's start with jobs. The Federal Reserve says the U.S. has what's called a structural labor shortage. What that means is, for every 10 open jobs in industry, there are only 7 available workers to fill them. And this isn't some temporary blip, it's a real, long-term threat to our economy. And this chart just lays it out perfectly. Look at this. Since 2021, that orange line, which is job openings in manufacturing, has been way higher than the blue line, which is the number of available unemployed workers. We just don't have enough people for the jobs that need to be done.
Okay, but here's the big question that always comes up. Doesn't automation kill jobs? Well, the data here says, nope, not really. Check this out. From 2010 to 2022, U.S. robot sales, that's the red line, and manufacturing employment, the blue line, they actually rose together. So automation doesn't just replace people, it can make companies more productive and competitive, which lets them hire more people.
And the impact here goes way beyond just the factory floor. As you can see, robotics is getting ready to tackle some huge societal challenges. We're talking about helping our aging population, making it possible to bring manufacturing back home, building the green tech we need for a sustainable future, and even helping with the huge labor shortages in construction.
I mean, just take housing for a second. The U.S. is short over 3 million homes right now, and a huge reason for that is we just don't have enough people who can build them. Automation could be a massive part of the solution, helping us build the homes and infrastructure we desperately need way faster and more efficiently.
So, you've got all this incredible potential, right? This tech can solve some of our biggest problems, which leads to the big question: Why is the U.S. falling behind? Well, this right here is the wake-up call. The report basically argues that while the technology has been hitting ludicrous speed, American policy and investment have just stalled out.
This slide just paints such a stark picture. It's so clear. On the left, you see the U.S., then an active national robotics initiative, a dedicated congressional caucus, coordinated federal funding. But look at the right. That's now. The initiative? Gone. The caucus hasn't done anything since 2019. And the funding? It's smaller and all over the place.
I mean, this is a clear step backward, and it's happening at the exact same time other countries are flooring it. So the crucial question is, what's the path forward? How can the U.S. get back in the driver's seat in this incredibly important field?
Well, the good news is the roadmap lays out a really clear, actionable plan. First, and this is the big one, make robotics a national priority again. Second, create a real coordinated strategy for research and development across all government agencies. Third, wake up the Congressional Robotics Caucus to get that high-level focus back. And finally, invest heavily in training the workforce of tomorrow to work right alongside these new technologies.
So we really end up right back where we started. The robotics revolution isn't a question of if, it's happening. The only questions are when, and more importantly, who. The technology to solve these massive challenges, from labor shortages and housing crises to taking care of our elders, it's all coming online right now. The race for tomorrow has already started, and the choices we make today are going to decide who stands on that podium.